Welcome to my channel, guys. My name is James. Today we're going to be making a very simple and easy vanilla cheesecake with a berry compote. Before we get going, be sure to subscribe down below to my YouTube channel, like the video, and let's get started. So to start the recipe off, first we're going to be making the crust. Typically you want to use graham crackers. I don't have any with me, so I'm going to be using some cookies that I have that are very similar. You can also use digestive cookies if you have them, or other sorts of biscuits or crackers. You're going to take the blender, you're going to blitz them. You can also break them by hand if you want. A blender's faster. Then I'm going to take a portion of this and set this aside. I'm going to be doing something a little different today, and I'll show you that a little later, something a little special. So I'm going to take the sugar that I have weighed out, I'm going to add the sugar and also the melted butter. I'm going to mix it until it's more or less this consistency. It needs to be a sandy type consistency where it clumps together a little bit, but not too much. It's very hard to describe this on camera, so the best way for me to do this is for you to actually see the consistency that I'm showing you. Once you have the consistency ready, I'm going to take my pan. I'm going to take a little knob of butter and just lightly coat the bottom of it. I'm not going to use any of the crust on the sides. I don't like a lot of crust on my cheesecake. Once you have buttered the pan, I'm going to take the portion of the cheesecake, evenly distribute it throughout the cheesecake. I'm going to take some sort of a flat surface that I have, like a cup or anything else that you can use, to then press and compact the bottom of the cheesecake. If you notice any piece that's a little more or a little less, you can add a little more crust to it or take it out. And if you want to check the thickness of the cheesecake that you have, you can poke a little hole in the bottom of the crust to see the depth of the crust, and then obviously cover that up. Then we're going to preheat our oven. We're going to put the crust in the oven for about 5 to 10 minutes, just until it turns a golden brown color. Then I'm going to take it out. We're going to let it rest. Now we're going to start the filling. You want to make sure that your cheesecake that you're using is at room temperature before you start. You want to first add the cheese to the bowl. Also, before you start, if you're using a surface like I am, you want to take a rag, put a little bit of water underneath, put the rag on top and a little bit more water on top, and then put your bowl on it so it doesn't move. This is what we typically do in the kitchen. Then you're going to weigh the sugar. You're going to slowly add that as you're mixing. Then you can add a little bit of salt. I'm going to add 3 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Then I'm going to add about 180 grams of creme fraiche, since I don't have any sour cream and I'm not using yogurt. You can substitute it with yogurt if you want, or use sour cream as well. I'm going to clean the side of the bowl continuously as I mix. Okay, now take your hand, such as this, to collect any of the seeds. I'm just going to add half a lemon. Now we've added everything, we're just missing the eggs. You want to add the eggs last. It's very important because we don't want to add a lot of air. We don't want to whip them for too long. So I'm going to add them one at a time. Bear with me since it's a little difficult by doing this by hand. Just clean down the sides. We're going to whip a little more, but not too much because we don't want to overmix this. Okay, now we're ready. Is that the consistency that we want? Now, we're going to be doing a Bain Marie, which is a water bath, and this is what we use in the kitchen quite a bit, and for cheesecakes it works very, very well because we don't want any bubbles in the cheesecake. So we're going to take saran wrap or the clear film, we're going to lay it along the bottom. My pan is Teflon and it's a little difficult, but more or less once you get a few layers around it, you can take a very long piece of clear film, break it off, take your hand to make basically a rope out of it. You're going to tie a knot around the pan to hold it together. Then you're going to take a bit of aluminum, again, layer it on the bottom so there are no cracks, and you're going to mold it around the pan. And I forgot to mention, since I'm not doing a crust on the side, even though this is Teflon, I don't trust it, and you know, after a while Teflon wears off. Just put a little bit of butter around the side. It just helps after it's done. Once you're ready, you're going to take the filling, evenly distribute it in the pan, give it a bit of a shake just so everything is flat, and then we're going to put it in the oven. I'm using the oven tray and I'm not filling any water in it before because it's a little dangerous when you have water in it before and you're moving it. So I'm going to put it in the oven. Then I'm going to add water once it's in the oven. We're going to cook about 10 minutes at 180 centigrade or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we're going to reduce the heat to about 150 centigrade for the next 40 minutes or about 300 Fahrenheit. After it's in the oven, now we're going to make the berry compote, and I'm also going to do something a little different with the topping. You're going to take a pan, get it hot, add some sugar, add a little bit of butter after the sugar has melted. As soon as the butter starts browning, we're going to add the topping. You add the topping in, cook it for just a few seconds, and then leave it off to the side. You want it a little clumpy. Then you're going to clean the pan. We're going to make the compote. You're going to get the pan hot, and then you're going to add the berries. You're going to add strawberries and then blueberries. Cook it for just 30 seconds to a minute. Add the sugar in. Let this cook and reduce. The berries are gonna start reducing with juice. After about 2 to 3 minutes of cooking, you're going to deglaze with a little bit of wine, or if you have port, I don't have any, I'm using a bit of white wine. After about another minute or two, you're going to take the compote, leave it on the side. If you want, you can add a little bit of lemon juice to it. I'm not, because I don't want to break the berries down into a sauce. I want the berries whole. The trick to checking a cheesecake to make sure it's done, you can take a toothpick and you're going to put it directly in the center when the timer goes off. If it comes out clean, it's done. You're going to take it out and let it rest. If it comes out with some cheesecake still on it, you're going to leave it back in the oven, or put it back in the oven for about 5 to 10 minutes. And then every 5 to 10 minutes, you're going to check it again, but always in the center, because this is the part that takes the longest to cook. Then you can add a little bit of compote on top with a little bit of the topping, and you're finished. So guys, thank you for watching. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to ask me down below in the comment section. And one last note, if it takes longer than 40 or 50 minutes, even 60, it doesn't matter, as long as the toothpick or the knife comes out clean when you check it. That's all that matters. And if it starts to color a little bit on top, be sure to put a little bit of aluminum over the cake so it doesn't brown too much. Also, if you want to check out any of my other videos or recipes online, be sure to do so on my YouTube channel, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. Like the video down below, and I'll see you guys again very soon.